Part 2 of the Donruss 1984 opening. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, please be sure to watch it. This is Dave's Cards and Sports Games. Be sure to like and subscribe. We're closing in on 100 subscribers finally, slowly but surely. Hope you're enjoying the videos. Here's Tommy John, Hall of Famer, 1984 Donruss set, one of the nicest sets ever made. Backs aren't great, fronts are unbelievably cool. Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk with his main team, the White Sox. Darrell Porter, great catcher. Dickie Thon had a great career at shortstop. Gary Maddox, outfielder. Cesar Cedeno from the Reds. Gary Lucas. Johnny Ray. Andy McGaffigan. Claudell Washington. Ryan Sandberg, Hall of Famer. George Foster. Spike Owen. Gary Gaetti, we talked about him in the other video. What a fielder. He's in the Twins Hall of Fame. Willie Upshaw. Al Williams. George Orta. People thought, when they don't know him, they think it's Jorge, but he is actually George Orta, which is really weird because I believe he's from Chicago, that's why. He's not Dominican Republic or anything. But yeah, he's George Orta, not Jorge Orta. Orlando Mercado. Junior Ortiz. Mike Prawley. Randy Johnson. Jim Morrison. Max Venable bunting one. There's Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn. Dwayne Walker. Ozzie Virgil. Jeff Lottie. Bill Daly. Wearing a rain jacket. Rob Wilfong. He had in 1979, he batted .313, one of the better averages in the major leagues. Mark Hill, Ray Burris, Alan Ramirez, Chuck Porter, Wayne Krenchicki. I always like saying that name, Krenchicki. Gary Allison. What do you think of these cards, everybody? Please comment. Bob Meacham, Joe Beckwith. Please comment on Dave's Cards and Sports Games YouTube channel. Rick Sutcliffe, Mark Hoosman, Tim Conroy, Scott Sanderson, Larry Bittner, Dave Stewart. When he was with Oakland, he would give up like 6 runs in the first inning and then pitch a complete game, giving up just 6 runs in the first inning. Darryl Motley, Chris Cottarelli, Rich Bahena, Andre Robertson, Mike Marshall had a good career, Larry Herndon, Rich Dower, Cecil Cooper, Rodney Klein Carew, Hall of Famer, Willie McGee. Now we're getting to Donruss. Seems like they load up all the good guys in a row. Willie McGee, great career. Phil Garner, great career. Scrap Iron. Joe Morgan, Hall of Famer. Luis Salazar, John Candelaria. I like how the hair just flies on half of these guys. Bill Lasky, Bob McClure, Dave Kong Kingman. We are opening up the 1984, showing off the 1984 Donruss set, one of the nicest sets ever made. Ron Say, the Rooster, the Penguin. Matt Young, Lloyd Mosby, Frank Viola. Love that I finally got my camera to work a little better here as we're doing the 1984 set. Floyd Bannister, Disco Dan Ford, check swinging. Moose Haas, Doug Bear. That card looks like he's a little sunburned. Ray Fontenot, Louis Aponte, Jack Thimble, Neil Heaton, Greg Pryor, Wayne Gross. This is part 2. Part 1 was shown a little bit ago. I will upload these both to Dave's Cards and Sports Games. Steve Luberdich, don't remember him. John Matlack. Look how low his knee is on the ground there, almost touching the ground. Julio Cruz. John Mizrak, announcer right now. Kevin Gross. Mike Ramsey, not the hockey player that played in the Olympics. Doug Wodes. Kelly Paris. Pete Falcone. Milt May. Even if you're watching this on Facebook and you want to say hi, say hi. Let me know what you think of the 1984 Donruss set. Steve Henderson, Randy Moffat, Ron Washington. He's still coaching. He's coaching the California Angels today at like 70-something. Gary Renicky, Tom Candiotti, Larry Pashnick, played for the Twins a little bit. Dwight Evans should be in the Hall of Fame. Goose Gossage. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. Darryl Thomas. Juan Eichelberger. Leon Roberts. Davey Lopes. Boy, he was fast. This time he had 470 stolen bases. I wonder if he ended with 500. Bill Gullickson, Jeff Zahn. He had a decent career with the Twins even. See if I can find how many wins he had with the Twins. Yeah, 13-7, 14 in the last 2 years. Then he went to California. And 1 year with the Angels, he was 18-8 with a 3.7 ERA. Billy Sample, Mike Squires, Craig Reynolds, Eric Shaw, John Denny, Cy Young Award winner. Dan Billardello, Bruce Benedict, Kent DeCalve, loved his sidearm approach, submarine. Mel Hall hit the long ball. John Stupor, Rick Dempsey was kind of the class clown. Don Sutton, Hall of Famer. Jack Morris, Hall of Famer. John Tudor didn't make the Hall of Fame. Willie Randolph, great player. Jerry Royce, great pitcher. Don Slott and Steve McCaddy. 4 stacks left of the 1984 Donruss. Hope you're enjoying my videos on Dave's Cards and Sports Games. Enjoying the action today, we have Paul Skeens, Rod Carew, we have Brooks Lee, and we have Rafael Devers, I guess, from Topps Now. Kim Wallach, like him, good third baseman. Larry Parrish, another good power hitter. Brian Downing, good outfielder catcher. Britt Burns, David Green, Jerry Mumphrey, Ivan DeJesus, Mario Soto, Gene Richards, Dale Berra, Dad was Yogi, Darrell Evans, great lefty, Glenn Hubbard, Jody Davis, Harry Carey's favorite player, Danny Heap, Edward Nunez, Bobby Castillo, Ernie Witt, Scott Alger, Doyle Alexander, good pitcher, Domingo Ramos, Craig Swan, Warren Brewstar, Lenny Barker, Mike Easler, Renee Martin, Dennis Rasmussen, Ted Power, Charlie Hudson, Danny Cox, Kevin Bass, Darryl Sconiers, Scotty Fletcher, Bryn Smith, Jimmy Dwyer, Bob Piccolo, Enos Cabell, Dennis, and they even put Oil Can in there. How cool is that in parentheses? The Oil Can, Dennis Oil Can Boyd, Butch Weiniger. When he played for the Twins, he once said he loves baseball so much he'd play for free. And Calvin Griffith said, I love that kid. Bert Happy Hooten, Ron Hassey, Danny Jackson, Bob Kearney, Terry Francona, Wayne Tollison, Mickey Rivers, Johnny Wathen, Bill Allman, George Vukovic, Steve Kemp, Kenny Landro, Milt Wilcox, Tippy Martinez, Ted Simmons, Tim Foley, George Hendrick, Terry Poole, Vaughn Hayes, Bobby Brown, Lee Lacey, and Joel Youngblood. 180 cards or so left. If you're on, want to say hi, say hi. Let me know what you think of the 84 Donruss. Jim Slayton, Mike Fitzgerald, Keith Moreland, Ron Renicky. Shouldn't be too many Hall of Famers in the last half of the set. Lamar Hoyt, 1984 Cy Young Award winner. Started the All-Star game. Joe Nolan, Marshall Edwards, Mike Laga, Rick Cerrone. Look at how low he is. Mike Miller, Rick Honeycutt, Mike Hargrove, Human Rain Delay, Joe Simpson, Keith Atherton. He had a couple good years with the Twins. Chris Welch, Bruce Keeson, Bob Johnson, Jerry Koosman from Appleton, Minnesota. Lives in Chaska. Doesn't say where he was born in. Appleton, Minnesota. Frank DePino. Yeah, Koosman won 200 games. That's a great career. The lifetime ERA of 3.33. That's unbelievably great. 3.33 lifetime ERA, 200 wins. Very underrated. Frank DePino, Tony Perez, Hall of Famer. Ken Obergfell, Mark Thurman, Joe Price, Pascual Perez. He always had goofy cards where he had like gum sticking out of his mouth, most of the Topps cards. Marvel Wynn, Mike Krukow, Dick Ruthven, Al Cowens, Cliff Johnson, home run hitter. Randy Bush, I believe he won 2 World Series with the Twins, won 1 for sure. Sammy Stewart, Billy Schrader, Aurelio Lopez, Mike Brown, Greg Nettles, by the way. It's not Craig Nettles, it's Greg Nettles. Another guy that played a long time. Had right around 2,000 hits. Good fielder. David Sachs, Jerry Willard, Paul Splittorff, Tom Bergmeyer. And Bergmeyer also, I believe, was born in Minnesota. Chris Spear. One thing about Chris Spear, these guys are always underrated. He played 20 years in the major leagues, always a utility player, but always got the job done. Bobby Clark, not the Philadelphia Flyer. George Wright, Dennis Lamp, Tony Scott, Ed Whitson, Ron Reed, Charlie Pulio. A lot of the Reds cards, it must be with the red here because every face looks like it's all sunburned on the Reds. Jerry Royster, Don Robinson, Steve Trout, Bruce Hall of Fame Suter. Boy, that's amazingly close. Bob Horner, Pat Tabler, Chris Chambliss, Bobby Ojeda, Alan Ashby, and Jay Johnstone. 120 cards left from the 1984 Donruss set. And if you're watching live, say hi. If you want to say something on Dave's Cards and Sports Games when they get posted, please do so. Let me know what you think of this fantastic set. It's absolutely amazing. Bobby Dernier, Brooke Jacoby, UL Washington, Danny Darwin, Kiko Garcia, Vance Law, Tug McGraw. How many years he pitched? He pitched for many years. Technically 179 saves, but back then relievers would come in the 7th inning. Dave Smith, Lenny Matusak, Tom Hume, Dave Dravecki, Rick Roden, Dwayne Kuiper, Rusty Staub, Billy Campbell, Mike Torres, David Henderson, Len Whitehouse, Barry Bonnell, Rick Lysander. He once pitched a shutout, a 12-hit shutout, and threw like 50 pitches in the shutout. Garthy Orge, Brian Clark, Brian Giles, Vern Rule, Steve Bedrosian, Larry McWilliams, Jeff Leonard, Alan Wiggins, Jeff Russell, Salome Barojas, Danny Orge, Bob Nepper, Gary Laval, Gorman Thomas, home run hitter. Only home runs and strikeouts for this guy. Led the league in homers, led the league in homers, led the leagues in strikeouts. All he did was homer and whiff. And the batting average was terrible. 209. Manny Trio, great second baseman. Jim Palmer, Hall of Famer. So we are getting to some good guys again. Dale Murray, Tom Brookins, he was a decent third baseman. Rich Gedman, good catcher. Billy Duran, liked him at second. Steve Yeager, good catcher. Spillner, Quisenberry, that Quiz, another submarine pitcher just like Kent DeCalve. Rance Mullenix, Storm Davis, Dave Schmidt, Bill Russell, Pat Sheridan, Rafael Ramirez, Bud Anderson, George Frazier, Lee Tennell, Kurt Gibson, Scotty McGregor, Bob Baylor, Tommy Herr, Louis Sanchez, Dave Engel, played in an All-Star game, Craig McMurdy, and Carlos Diaz. We are to the last stack. I believe the last stack has a couple of more than 60, so we'll just do this. Tom O'Malley, Nick Osaski, Ron Hodges, Ed Vandenberg, Alfredo Griffin, Glenn Hoffman, Hubie Brooks, Richard Barnes, Greg Walker, Kenny Singleton. You had a good batting average many years. 295, 304, 280. With 35 homers, 24 homers. Great career for Ken Singleton. Mark Clear, Buck Martinez, Ken Griffey Sr., Reed Nichols, Doug Sisk, Bob Brenly, Joe McLaughlin, Glenn Wilson, Bob Stoddard, Lenny Sakata. One of the few guys that batted with glasses. Mike Young, John Stefero, Carmelo Martinez, David Bergman. How about that? Running Reds. Which is funny because it's the Cardinals, but they're wearing the Reds. E.T. McGee. Which one's Ozzy? There's Ozzy, I think. Who are they? Lonnie Smith and David Green are in there, too. All right. Rudy May, Matt Keogh, Jose De Leon, Jim Essien, Darnell Coles, Mike Warren, Del Crandall, Danny Martinez, Mike Moore, Larry Sorensen, Ricky Nelson, not the singer, Omar Moreno, Charlie Huff, Dennis Hall of Famer Eckersley coming right at you. Walt Terrell, Denny Walling, Dave Anderson, Jose Oquendo, Bob Stanley, Dave Geisel, Scott Gertz. Gary Pettis had a decent career. And then the set kind of ends with some goofy stuff. A Duke Snyder, this was the puzzle that you got with the set. And they threw Johnny LeMaster and Dave Collins right out. How about the San Diego Chicken card? It's not a set without the San Diego Chicken. Living Legends. Necro and Raleigh. Bench and Yaz. And there's a checklist of the Diamond Kings. And I don't know how these got all messed up. And the regular checklist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we will quickly go to the beginning here and try to pull out a... We'll end this video with a picture of my favorite card of all time. Buddy Bell. The 1984 Donruss set. Please let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed the video. Videos, part 1, part 2. You're watching part 2. You're watching Dave's Cards and Sports Games. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.